You are listening to Crime, Coffee, and Crafts, a podcast featuring two crafty besties who love true crime and a good cup of joe.
Ready, Freddie.
Whoa, that was extra loud for some reason today.
Ooh.
Recording in progress. Okay, Zoom lady. Good morning. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Oh, I need to stretch apparently. But I'm good. I'm staying warm.
Good, me too, kind of.
Got my heater. Got all the stuff. There's snow outside at your house and my house. Did yours disappear?
It melted, yeah.
Ours is white out.
Ours melted already.
Yeah,
ours it was like 1:00 yesterday. It was gone.
Bummer. But also I
mean, we had the nice, and the girls are gone this weekend, so I didn't get to have fun with them with it. So
yeah, bummer. But you should just come visit us in the winter sometime when our house is more appropriately designed.
Yes.
We'll get there.
That'll happen.
So for those who are not watching on YouTube, Kristen is wearing a Christmas sweatshirt and it is so fucking cool. You're going to have to show it.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. It says Merry Christmas, shitter's full.
Because if you know, you know.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, so for me, I wear this year round. If I need a sweatshirt, I like to throw it on. It could be July. I'll throw it on.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I forgot to bring my coffee bag up here, but it is an espresso that my mom sent me from either from St. Thomas or St. John, somewhere in that area. But I will post a picture of it on
Very
Instagram.
Nice.
So
look forward to it.
I also might try to crop it into the end of the episode here on the YouTube.
Yeah, Heidi is the editing queen.
Oh, I'm not that good at it,
though. If you don't know, Heidi handles all of our technical computer technology stuff. I have no clue what I'm doing, guys. she just tells me what to do when I do it.
Yeah. Just, save, share, blah, 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 blah.
I do my best.
It works.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I just hate sometimes because I feel like I think Heidi has to put more time in because
but I have
editing and stuff.
But I have more quote unquote free time to do so.
Yeah.
Because I am home all
I know, but you are you are busy.
But I'm home and you are not. So it's fine.
Yeah.
And it takes two. Ha-ha!
It takes two to make a thing go right.
Oh, don't make me start dancing.
It takes two to get I forgot to oh my goodness. It's wacky Sunday, y'all.
I mean, that's normal for us. So yeah.
So what are we doing? So you're doing coffee.
What do I get? Oh, I have a craft. I'm wearing one of my older crafts, actually. This is a sweater that I made with my own yarn. This is my hand-dyed yarn, not my hand spun.
Right. But, so it was already spun and then you dyed it. And then used it to make your sweater coverall.
Yes. Love it.
It's wonderful. It's awesome.
But I have two crafts because I'm working on a very important craft right now. In honor of, I'm going to try not to get choked up right now.
Okay.
In honor of my friend's daughter who passed away just over a year ago.
Yeah.
Gosh, was it only a year or was it longer? Time is all getting weird.
I know. We're all kind of mushed together.
Yeah. So this is for Ruby. She was 8 years old. And
sweet Ruby.
She had leukemia. So her parents do a lot with raising money and stuff to buy toys and things for the kids that were in the wing of the hospital that
right. Yeah.
And so I'm working on making a bunch of hats for them because Ruby loved my hats that I made her.
Yeah, she did.
And you know, their heads are so sensitive and cold and
skin, yeah, so. Skin irritants and
yeah. So
that's very kind of you.
What I'm working on. Sweet. Trying to make a whole bunch of those and get them shipped before they go again for their next.
Heidi is tough, but on the inside, soft.
The toughest people are just marshmallows inside.
Yeah.
That's our reality.
That is. It is. That's so true. So true.
Yeah. So yeah, this episode is not going to get any nicer.
Well, lay it on me, kid.
Okay, so we're covering the murder of Rachael Anderson, which is somewhat local to me, not really local to me, but like local to Ohio. Trigger warnings: child rape, adult rape, torture, kidnapping, and murder. But to start things off, I want to read Rachael's obituary so everyone has a good idea of how much of an amazing human being she was. Get your tissues ready.
No.
Punch your jaw instead. Rachael Nicoletta Anderson, 24, of Columbus, formerly of Warren, was taken from her family and friends way too soon on January 28th, 2018. Rachael will always be remembered and loved by her family and friends for her uniqueness, hard work, loving kindness, joy, and infectious laughter. She had the ability to make a lasting impression on everyone she came in contact with, and she could light up a room with her smile. Rachael was born January 28th, same day that she was killed, 1994, in Warren, Ohio, the daughter of William, Bill, and Patricia, Trish, Anderson. Rachael was a 2012 graduate of Warren G. Harding High School, where she was in the National Honor Society and enjoyed playing soccer, volleyball, and band.
Well-rounded.
Yeah. During high school, she was employed at Macaulay's Giant Eagle and touched numerous lives of staff members and customers. She then continued her education and following her dream of becoming a funeral director, embalmer at Youngstown State University. Following her prerequisite studies, she then was accepted into the Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science, which I didn't know was here.
Nice.
Where she earned her bachelor degree in mortuary science in 2016. While attending mortuary school, she had the pleasure of working with and learning from the staff. Her mentors, Tara and Jackie, and owner Bernie of Nagel Kleb Eilendorf. Hope I said that right. Funeral home in Norwood. Upon graduation, Rachael then served her apprenticeship and became part of the family at the Shaw Davis Funeral Homes in Columbus. She was so happy. She loved Adam, Kip, Kim, their families, and all her colleagues. We knew she was in good hands, and to say in my daughter's words, I will work for them forever. Rachael had many passions throughout her life, first and foremost, her career. She had a gift of compassion. She enjoyed dancing and socializing with family and friends. She loved children. She loved her life. Let's see. She leaves behind to hold on to precious memories her father, William, her mother, Patricia, a brother she adored, John, maternal grandmother, who she loved from the moon and back, Nona, Claudia, and two uncles, Thomas and Michael, along with many lifetime friends and relatives. To know Rachael, she was a beautiful soul. She was a free spirit, and she blessed us in so many ways. We may have only had her for a short time, but she made a lasting impression, and she will never be forgotten. Let's celebrate her life, sing, dance, hug your family and friends. That's what she would have wanted. It's just irritating to me because she was such a good person. And I know it happens.
Yeah.
This happens to good people all the time, but like, you know.
I know. It's sad.
And on her birthday.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, and she took a different kind of path. That was like my other thing that I wanted to do.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a rare individual that wants to do that.
Yeah.
So as it stated in her obituary, Rachael wanted to become a funeral director. So she attended Youngstown State University, where she majored in prerequisites for mortuary science and made the dean's list.
Nice.
She then attended the Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science, which was in her obit. But while Rachael was in mortuary school, she worked at the Nagelkleb Eilendorf. Second time I'm saying that one. I think I nailed it.
Yeah, I think you did a good job. That was a tough one.
You should see how it's spelled. Funeral home. She was a member of the Ohio Funeral Directors Association, and she had moved to Columbus, Ohio, where she got an apprenticeship at the Shaw Davis Funeral Home. Columbus, Ohio is like a couple hours away from me. Mm-hmm. Rachael's apprenticeship was almost over, and according to the funeral home's manager, Rachael was going to be offered a job. Rachael celebrated her 24th birthday on January 26th and 27th, 2018, even though her actual birthday was on the 28th. On the 26th, her brother John came to stay with her. The next day, Rachael and John went to the home of their friend, John Kennedy's, to celebrate Rachael's birthday. They had a party there. The Anderson siblings spent the night at the Kennedy's house and came back to Rachael's apartment on the 28th. Rachael worked on both the 26th and 27th, so she had given her brother her apartment key so that he could come and go as he pleased. Mm-hmm. But on the 28th, Rachael's brother John went back to Warren and accidentally took the key with him. At around 1 p.m., Rachael texted the Kennedys, who had a spare key to her apartment.
That was lucky.
Saying she would come and pick up their key, but because they were giving a friend a ride to Athens, Ohio, she had to come and get the key later when they returned home. Mm. So at 6:17 p.m., Rachael texted the Kennedys saying she would be leaving in 20 minutes to come and get the key. She spoke to her mother at around 6:30 and then went and got her key from the Kennedys. Since Rachael's apartment door could only be locked from the outside with a key, though, that meant that she had to leave it unlocked when she left for work that day.
That's weird.
Well, it's a shitty system. Apartment building owners, don't
fix
do that.
Your locks.
Get better locks.
Get better security on your doors.
So on her way home, she stopped at an Arby's on the east side at around 7:30. Unfortunately for Rachael, someone was inside her home before she got there. Mm-hmm. Anthony Pardon, what a name.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
He won't be pardoned.
No, he will not. Anthony Pardon had entered Rachael's apartment at about 8 p.m. So he literally went inside, like, I think right before she got there. Mm. So he kidnapped Rachael, taking her from the downstairs of her apartment to the upstairs. And I just have to say, I love that that is considered kidnapping because it adds on that extra charge when the suspect is caught.
Yeah, no, it's very important to understand that if you take somebody against their will and move them a foot,
yes,
it is a kidnapping charge.
Yes.
So be mindful, people, when you are with your loved ones. If you're trying to move your person out of the way, could technically get you hemmed up with kidnapping. So
yeah, don't get a kidnapping charge. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He restrained her. It's about to get gnarly, so keep those trigger warnings in mind, people. Tying her feet and ankles together with the cord from her hairdryer and binding her hands with her belt and cords from her blinds. He then wrapped the cord from Rachel's curling iron between the hairdryer cord and over her wrists, hog tying her.
Mm-hmm.
And he gagged her. Pardon forced Rachael to tell him her PIN number to her debit card. He tortured her and raped her. Pardon strangled Rachael with the cord from an electric blanket. Rachael also suffered blunt trauma and a stab wound in her head.
That's interesting. I mean, considering
it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, he took a lot of different measures to end her life. It's almost like, I guess maybe he was just taking things out of convenience, whatever was around.
Well, yeah, he was definitely using things out of convenience for sure.
Yeah.
But we'll understand him a little bit more shortly.
Okay. All right.
Not that we really want.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean,
he's a piece.
Yeah.
Pardon placed Rachael into her bedroom closet, and he left her there, naked from the waist down, and with the electric blanket cord tied around her neck and the doorknob.
Oh.
So all of this could have been avoided, but we'll get into that.
Okay.
In a minute.
Gotcha.
After murdering Rachael, Pardon stole her car. He also took her credit card and debit card and used them at several stores in Columbus. He gave his sister the debit card and went shopping with her.
Dang.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's like family. How nice.
Boy.
How nice.
Great.
Yeah. Such a nice sister. Pardon's sister later learned that the card belonged to a murder victim when she watched the news. Pardon also gave the debit card to a homeless man. Good grief. Gave the debit card to a homeless man named. Holy hell.
We're combining words over here, guys.
It happens. Sorry. Homeless man named Anthony Sleets.
Sleaze?
Sleets. Like
Sleets.
Sleet. With an S.
Sound like sleaze.
I mean,
could be. Yeah.
Claiming that he claimed that his girlfriend was trying to take his money after a falling out. So, just spend it all. And offered to buy Sleets a hotel room if he used the card.
Oh.
So Pardon gave Sleets Rachel's PIN number and drove Sleets to several ATMs.
He was creating Patsy.
Basically. So now we're going to get into Anthony Pardon and his history.
Ugh.
It's not going to be pretty either. So again, trigger warnings, heed them.
Heed the warning.
Yeah, definitely get something to squeeze because you're about to get angry probably.
Don't punch the walls, guys. Don't punch the walls.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Anthony Pardon is a repeat violent offender and sex offender whose criminal history prior to Anderson's murder involved several rapes, including the rape of an infant and the rape of an 8-year-old girl.
Ugh.
Along with robbery, kidnapping, and attempted murder. At the time of Anderson's murder, he had spent a total of 33 years in prison for his crimes and was registered as a tier 3 sex offender, which for anybody who doesn't already know, that is the highest tier you
The
can
highest level, yeah.
That is the worst, and that means they are extremely violent sex offenders.
So why are we loose?
Exactly what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
So in most states, a tier 3 sex offender has to re-register on the sex offender registry every 90 days. Apparently.
Right.
My question is, why the fuck would anybody let a tier 3 sex offender out of prison?
It has been
It's proven
an
that
issue over and over again that
can't
these guys don't reform, they don't get better.
exactly.
They do worse things.
Exactly. They just worse.
Continue and
Mhm.
continue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's literally just a slap on the wrist. Like, he served 30 something years, but like, that's a slap on the wrist for somebody like him. He should be
Because
locked up
he's
for
just
the
gonna
rest.
go right
Yeah.
back out
Just
the
lock him
second
up,
he's there.
throw away
Obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was older
Yes.
when he
At,
did
at this point,
okay.
when he got to Rachael, yeah. According to Pardon's defense attorneys, he had an abused, dysfunctional, chaotic childhood, which he did. But that does not excuse it. He was raised by his grandparents before living with his mother. He developed conduct disorder and antisocial personality disorder, which yes,
Okay.
it's sad he didn't have a chance, but really that doesn't give him the right to do what he did. And
No.
anybody who says otherwise, you need help.
You need help and don't need to talk to us.
Yeah, seriously. just
There's no excuse.
block us right now. It's ugh. Ugh. So in March of 1979, Pardon, then 14 years old, was temporarily committed to the Ohio Youth Commission after he raped an 8-year-old girl. In July of that year, he was made a ward of the court and temporarily committed to Franklin County Children's Services. And in December of that year, Pardon was found guilty of menacing and permanently committed to the Ohio Youth Commission, as well as being placed in foster care. I don't know why they even put him in foster care. He was already.
He already had.
It was the 70s.
No.
So. So
times were different.
Exactly. In 1980, Pardon was charged with raping a 9-month-old child.
Oh,
like, seriously?
God.
I would have fucking murdered him. I would be in prison for murder if somebody did that to my baby.
Yeah, it's unimaginable and not. Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, baby.
Right?
That's all I can say. I'm just sorry.
The victim of this rape was the son of Pardon's foster parents. Yeah. Pardon, who was 15 when he committed the crime, was babysitting while his foster mother went out grocery shopping. He told Columbus police that he committed the crime because he was upset after having a fight with his girlfriend. Seriously, dude?
What?
Pardon was convicted.
Sorry.
He was convicted of the crime as a juvenile, which we know what happens.
Yeah. Swept under the rug after doing whatever little bare minimum time he did.
Exactly.
Let free.
Yep. So on November 13th, 1981, 1 year later, 16-year-old Pardon was allowed into the home of his girlfriend's 39-year-old mother to use her phone. He pulled a butcher knife on her, raped her at knife point, and stole $100 from her purse. He bound her hands and feet together, gagged her, and put her in the trunk of a car. Sound familiar?
Just a little bit.
He then drove her to Valleydale, where he untied her feet and threw her into Alum Creek behind the Valleydale ballroom. When Pardon saw that the victim, who was partially clothed, was able to keep afloat, he went into the creek and held her head under the water.
So this would be our first.
But there's a but. Thank fucking God. Luckily, the woman survived. after
Wow.
a good Samaritan intervened. Yeah.
See, that's why you don't just watch violence happen, you
See
fix
something.
it. See
Say
something,
something.
do something, say something. It is so important, and it makes me so angry when people are just watching and videotaping
Don't just
violence in front
videotape.
of them.
Don't just
Oh,
video it.
go go do something about it.
Yeah, seriously. It's ridiculous. Hardin left before the police arrived and used the money he stole from the victim to buy some new tennis shoes and a jogging outfit. So, like, in my head, I'm like 1981.
He had a tracksuit.
He had a tracksuit. Like, seriously?
He's a runner and a track star.
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yeah, did
So,
he have a gold chain too?
probably. I mean,
Ugh.
he might have. Who knows?
Might have. And a wife beater underneath.
Probably.
Some white tennies.
Definitely the era. Well, I mean, he might not have had a wife beater. He could have just been wearing the tracksuit like a little bit unzipped.
Oh, with his chest hair out. Ugh.
If he had chest hair, I don't know.
I don't know.
So he was only 16. So
Oh, yeah.
Hardin was tried as an adult. Thank the Lord.
That's good.
And in May,
Mm.
I'm going to make some people feel old and make myself feel old for a second. In May of 1982, when I was born.
I was a year and some change old.
Yes. At age 17, he was convicted of aggravated robbery, rape, and attempted murder in Franklin County, Ohio. Hardin was sentenced to, wait for it, 5 to 25 years in prison. Why is there even a 5 in there? Like, seriously? That's all he got?
Mm.
Okay, but it gets worse.
I bet it does.
I'm sorry, but it does.
All right.
Okay, ready?
Composure.
He was originally sent to the Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, but was transferred to the Lebanon Correctional Institution and later to the Southern Ohio Correctional Facility in Lucasville. While in prison, he acquired several disciplinary infractions, including possessing weapons, setting fire to a mattress, and fighting. He ended up spending more than 24 years in prison for the crime and was released in November of 2006. I am
At least
sorry.
they gave him almost a whole, but
Yes,
it's still not enough.
He had bad behavior. Why didn't they keep him in? I'm just saying.
Because the judge gave him the sentencing and they couldn't go over it.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
I know.
So Hardin was officially declared a sexual predator in 1999.
It took that long?
Yeah. Why? I don't know.
Should have been that way from the get-go.
Mm-hmm. So after his release, Hardin moved to Georgia in 2006 or 2007 and applied for a maintenance job under a false name.
Yeah, because I'm sure if he used his regular name, red
Oh,
flag.
for sure he wouldn't have gotten a job.
Yeah.
So in 2007, he was charged and convicted for forgery and failure to register as a sex offender in Georgia and spent 9 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, cool. He was also given 20 years of probation and was required to wear a GPS ankle monitor and to pay for all the expenses of said ankle monitor.
Okay.
20 years. So even if the probation had started in 2007, he should have still been on probation
right.
He should still be on probation today.
Now.
At the very least.
Yeah.
So in 2017, when Hardin was released from prison, he returned to Ohio in June of that year through an interstate compact agreement between Ohio and Georgia. Good job, Ohio. Fuckers.
Hi, doggies.
Fucking dogs. Fucking dogs. Anyway, sorry about that. He was monitored by the Adult Parole Authority and required to check in with the Sheriff's Department every 90 days. Ohio's Adult Parole Authority did not give him a fucking ankle monitor like they were supposed to. Of course
great.
Not. As a judge had requested because of the length of time spent monitoring. And, quote, literally, quote, the expense issue. Do your fucking job.
What?
That's all I have to say.
Oh, boy.
So they're not monitoring him.
Right.
They have no clue where he's
That's
at.
part of his probation.
Yeah. If you can't do that, lock him back up.
Yeah.
So on August 21st, 2017, Pardon was caught with a prostitute in his car. Though he told police he was giving her a ride, the woman confirmed to local news that he was interested in sexual activity.
Yeah, sure.
So they did nothing. Fast forward to January 27th, 2018. At 4 a.m., the day before Pardon brutally murdered Rachael. He was caught driving without a license. During that stop, he was found to have a pocket knife, a kitchen knife, and a pellet gun.
Put him in jail, because that's violations.
And you want to know what they fucking didn't do?
Didn't put him in jail, and they let him go.
Didn't even arrest him. Didn't even give him a slap on the wrist. They just let him go. And oh, it's so frustrating because what I know about the departments here where I live.
Yeah. They're not elite like mine.
They don't do their fucking job.
Right.
They let people go who are verbally abusive to them, which, like, if you pull somebody over who's driving without a license and they attack you verbally, you should arrest them.
Well,
but what do? They let them go. They let them go. And that's my firsthand knowledge of that.
Right.
It's ridiculous. So, one day before he murdered her.
Right.
This all could have been avoided.
Stopped.
Yep. So on January 29th, Rachael didn't show up for work or answer her phone, which was totally not like her.
Yeah, she loved her job.
Yep. She was a good, hardworking individual. The office supervisor of Shaw Davis Funeral Home asked a coworker who was out doing deliveries to stop by Rachel's apartment to check on her.
Well check time.
Mm-hmm. When the coworker went to Rachel's apartment, he got no response. So he went to the rental office and explained the situation. But because neither Rachel's coworker or the rental office employees were allowed to enter Rachel's apartment, her coworker contacted police. And thankfully,
good. At least they didn't just give up.
They finally did their fucking job. Police responded and had the rental agent inspect Rachel's apartment, but the rental agent did not find Rachel. No offense, dude.
Why didn't wait?
But it was probably
what?
It was probably a guy.
They were doing a well check. The cops were called to do a well check. They didn't do the well check themselves?
Nope.
So they didn't do their job.
Well, they didn't have probable cause to go inside yet, technically. They needed permission.
Well.
So hold on though. After that, Rachel's former roommate, thankfully, gave her friend Jonathan Kennedy permission to inspect the apartment. And thankfully, he did a better job of inspecting.
Yeah.
Kennedy went into Rachel's bedroom, which he found to be off. Just something was off. It doesn't say what, but I'm sure it was a disaster in there.
Right.
He testified that he tried to look in the closet, but when he tried to pull the door open, it felt like something was pulling it back. When he was able to open the closet door, he found Rachel's bound and lifeless body. He tried to help her, but realized she was dead. So he went back outside and notified Officer Frank Sclafani. That's a last name.
Mm-hmm. Sounds
Investigate,
like a mobster.
right? I mean, Ohio does have a lot of that. A lot of that history.
Yeah.
Investigators arrived on the scene only to find Rachel's bound body partially wrapped in a comforter. There was also a shirt wrapped around her head and a black clothing item knotted around her neck and shoved into her mouth. The autopsy determined that Rachel had been strangled and stabbed. She suffered a laceration to her scalp and fractures in the base of her skull. The stab wound went through the back of her neck and penetrated the left cerebral hemisphere and internal capsule of her brain.
Oof.
Gnarly.
Yeah.
Rachel was stabbed with so much force that part of her skull broke off.
Wow. I don't know what monster was living in that man, but it was a strong,
he's
strong
a brutal
monster.
Brutal human being.
Yeah.
If I can even call him a human being.
No, that's why he's a monster.
Yeah, he's a monster.
He's dubbed the monster now.
Yep. The autopsy also revealed that Rachel was strangled with the cord from an electric blanket and that the strangulation led her to suffer hemorrhages in her sternocleidomastoid muscles, which this is where my Pilates training really comes in handy because I actually know what that is. This muscle that runs down, like right behind the ear, down the like collarbone.
Right.
It's a serious triggering muscle. If you get like tension headaches and stuff, that's actually a big cause of it.
Is that why it's good to like rub here?
Yep.
To work through
that whole thing, and it, yikes. And her eyelids, and caused the vessels in her eyes to become overfilled with blood. So they also found that Rachel had bruises and red marks on her ankles and wrists, which indicates that she was still alive when Pardon bound her. Yeah,
because she was having hemorrhage, like
right.
The eyes thing was the petechial I cannot speak.
Hemorrhaging,
which meant that she was slowly dying.
Right.
Not, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Pardon's DNA. I jumped ahead. The coroner who performed Rachel's autopsy concluded that her death was caused by the stab wound to her head and neck, though the coroner who testified at the trial stated that had he performed the autopsy, he might have ruled that she died of ligature strangulation. Pardon's DNA was found on several parts of Rachel's body and at the crime scene and was confirmed in the rape kit. So he fucked. Data, yeah, he needed that. Data from Pardon's phone showed that he was at Rachel's apartment from 7:59 to 9:25 p.m. on January 28th, 2018. Once police discovered that Rachel's debit card was missing, they examined her bank records. And using the cell phone data, they matched Pardon's whereabouts to the use of her card. Surveillance video also showed Pardon and his sister using Rachel's debit card, as well as Pardon using Rachel's credit card and driving her car. Investigators spoke to Anthony Sleets after video footage showed him using her card. Sleets told them that a man matching Pardon's description gave it to him. And sadly, by the time Pardon became a suspect, Sleets had died. That's all I know about Sleets.
So,
yeah.
The homeless life caught up to him.
Yeah. Well, Columbus is a very windy place. I don't know if anybody knows that. It is windy as hell there.
It's not a very good
cold
place to be homeless.
No. I don't know how people do it out here.
I don't either. That's why there's so many in California, because they flee there. Or Florida.
Hawaii, California, Florida. Video showed Pardon and Sleets driving Rachel's car hours after she was murdered. And the 9-inch steak knife that Pardon used to stab Rachael was found 2 weeks after the murder in a box in Rachel's apartment by her mom. Like, hello, team who was supposed to search the apartment. You missed something. Jeez.
A pretty big something to miss.
Yeah, but I mean, they had plenty of other evidence, thankfully.
Yes.
Yeah. But so Pardon was arrested on February 9th of 2018 in the Linden neighborhood by SWAT officers, which, hell yeah. Dude, I hope he pissed himself when he saw him coming, but probably not because he's a hardened human being monster. He was held in jail on a $5 million bond. That's amazing.
Yeah.
On February 15th, a Franklin County grand jury indicted Pardon on 9 counts, including aggravated burglary, aggravated robbery, kidnapping, rape, and aggravated murder. The indictment also included death penalty specifications as well as repeat violent offender, sexually violent predator, and repeat attempted murder specifications. And he was formally arraigned on February 20th, and he pled not guilty on all charges.
Oh, dumbass.
Like, bro, seriously?
It's because when they know they're full on guilty,
well, he thought
and they put in that non-guilty plea, it drags everything out, and the whole system just gets played.
Well, and he continued to play the system. On June 19th, Pardon was supposed to appear in court for a pretrial hearing, but refused to do so, accusing Franklin County District Attorney Ron O'Brien of creating a sideshow and indicating that he didn't want to be paraded in front of news cameras. Yeah. So the judge, the court reporter, the prosecutors, and Pardon's defense attorneys visited him in his holding cell, but he still refused to participate in the hearing.
Yeah, he's just playing the game. Yeah.
So in December of 2019, Pardon sent a handwritten letter to a local TV station claiming that he didn't kill Rachael. Pardon wrote that he didn't kill anyone and that this case is only because of my past. Claimed that he knew Rachael and that they got high together. Really?
Yes.
O'Brien said that Pardon would have known that Rachael had THC in her system because he had access to information from her autopsy. Oh, so ridiculous.
Yeah.
O'Brien also said that there was zero evidence that Rachael knew Pardon and that Pardon's letter was a tactic to delay the trial and,
of course,
a quote unquote desperate act. I agree.
Just grasping at straws there.
So then he did the same thing that most of these dumb shits do. On January 24th, Pardon dismissed his attorney.
And he,
despite urges, despite urges from the judge not to do so. McIntosh warned him of the perils of representing himself and asked him a series of questions about self-representation. Pardon said that he understood what he was doing. His former attorneys were to serve as standby attorneys in case he decided he wanted legal representation. But in the end, Pardon decided not to represent himself.
Okay.
He's just drawing everything out.
He didn't do a Charlie Manson moment.
Oh, man. The jury deliberated for approximately 6 hours before finding Pardon guilty of all charges, including aggravated burglary, aggravated robbery, kidnapping, rape, and aggravated murder.
I wonder if it took that long because they had to go through each charge.
Yes.
Or if it just was like,
well,
I doubt anyone was saying he was not guilty of anything.
Yeah. They just had to make sure they nailed it down. So, like I said, he was eligible for the death penalty, which prosecutors definitely sought. But on February 20th, 2020, after deliberating for 3.5 hours, the jury deadlocked on whether to recommend the death penalty and recommended a life without parole sentence. So, yeah.
I mean,
it I hate that
I have
taxpayer
so
money.
many backup. Yeah.
Taxpayer money is paying for this fucktard to live. Seriously.
It would have been our money to put him to death too. But
it's
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a lot less, isn't it?
I think it would be
a
cheaper
lot
to
less.
just kill him. Just saying.
Can we just stone him in the street? No, I am not condoning violence, FYI.
Sorry, but if anybody deserves it, it's this guy. Well, I said it.
Mr. Monster.
You didn't say it. I said it. Pardon, blah, blah, blah. Sentencing occurred on March 16th of 2020. I think that was like right before Ohio shut down.
Right at COVID shut down. It was
literally like the week where my stomach was in knots and I was like, I can't work anymore. I'm sorry. I have to go home.
Yeah.
Judge McIntosh sentenced Pardon to 1 life without parole sentence for aggravated murder and another life without parole sentence for rape. Pardon was also given an additional 63 years in prison for aggravated burglary, kidnapping, and aggravated robbery charges and repeat violent offender specifications. And the sentences are being served consecutively. He's never going to see the light of day. And that is my case. Good.
And you're sticking to it.
Fucking.
Pardon. This is my case and I'm sticking to it.
It's just like he took a beautiful, wonderful, lovely human being out of this world.
And he ruined a few others.
He ruined a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
Because he's a fucking.
This is gross.
Yikes. Resources. Wikipedia. Peter Rossi and Son FH.com, which is the place that the obituary.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody wants to go read it or make a donation or whatever, go there. Many local and national news stations. Just little bits of stuff here and there.
Little bits and pieces.
Yeah. So Pardon is gone.
Well, Pardon's alive though, right? He's just living his life in Ohio prison somewhere.
He's locked up. I don't know where, but he's locked up. So at least they caught him. That's the only thing I got.
Yeah. And then the victims' families can have that.
Yeah.
At least they know that he's locked up and he's away and he can't harm anybody else. But just to the victims' families and loved ones, I hope that you can remember her in a good.
Well, and I also hope, I really do hope that her brother doesn't blame himself.
Yeah, I'm sure there's always going to be a part of.
But like, if
some sort of guilt.
If you're ever listening to this, don't blame yourself.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
The choices of a madman are never anybody else's fault.
Yeah. So Rachael Anderson, R.I.P.
Yep.
Oh, all right.
I need another cup of coffee. Whew.
After that one, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But that's all we got?
That's all I got. Ta-ta.
For now.
Thanks for listening to Crime, Coffee, and Crafts. If you love our podcast, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. This helps us more than you know. If you really love us and want to support us, go to our website at www.crimecoffeeandcrafts.com. From there, you can join our Patreon, shop our merch, and find us on social media.